This video segment will cover the pre-Old English history and take us into what now we determine to be Old English. The Romans came in when the Roman Empire was expanding and conquered Britain and occupied Britain for a very long time. The people who were native there, the native Britons, they farm the land and they're actually a very peaceful people. They don't have to have a military, they don't have to have any knowledge of weaponry at this time because the Romans take care of all of this for the Britons. They continue to speak their own Celtic language despite the Roman occupation, and the reason is because they're very separate. They have very separate jobs in life. The Romans are there to protect and to make sure that Rome gets what's coming to them as far as land and food and money goes, and the native Britons keep to themselves, which is how they keep their language. When the Roman Empire begins to fall in 410 AD, the Romans leave to come back and protect their homeland. And that leaves these farmers who know nothing about military or nothing about any kind of weaponry alone and very vulnerable. So what happens is that the Scots and the Pikes from the north come down and they attack. The Pikes and the Scots are a very barbaric society at this point, and they're very violent when they fight. So the Brits really have no choice but to put a call out to the rest of Europe and hope that someone will come and help them. And who shows up are the Germanic tribes. The tribes have different names. The biggest two tribes are the Angles and the Saxons, which this is how we end up with what we know as Anglo-Saxon culture. The Scots and the Pikes are pushed back up north. You can see here on this map from this time, it's called Pikeland. Today this is actually Scotland. And the Germanic tribes actually get very, very comfortable in this land. There's lots of natural resources, and it's actually what they find a very pleasant place to live. So they put their homes down here, and they start pushing out what was originally the natives, the Britons, and they push them into what we know today here as Wales. And Wales translates into the word stranger or outcast. There are also some Britons that flee to France, and that'll be important later in our history as we go through the development of the language. These Germanic languages and the Celtic languages all merge together to form something that becomes known as Old English. Old English sometimes we think of as being the language that is spoken at the Renaissance Fair, but this is very far from the truth. The Old English language is very different from ours and would sound and look like a foreign language. You can see here the original Beowulf manuscript that was found, and there are characters that we don't have in our current language, and there are sounds that we don't have in our current language. The next part of this exercise and this activity will be to watch a short video of someone reading the first part of Beowulf in Old English, and you can hear how different it really is.